But here goes the opening wave for J.Marshall. Love Jake's style, super fluid. Kind of reminds me of like a Shane Beshin type of surfer. You know, his arms, cool looking, unique, and obviously ripping down the line on this wave.
Yeah, but you see it right there.
And our guy, Mitchell Salazar. And in the words of AC/DC, for those about to Punta Roca, we salute you. Let's kick things off with Miguel Pupo. This is Heat 12 of our opening round. Silky, smooth, stylish, goofy footer. Miguel.
Getting drawn out. It really makes it tricky, but he started off beautifully that wave, those two open up carves. And the wave is stretching out so much, and it's just very tricky. But if you find that, you know, slower pace wave, it's going to help it out. And maybe here, Deivid Silva, whoa, finding that.
Disco spin on his backhand. Quick snap there. It seems like, then you tell me, it seems like the glacier waves are almost better for the goofy footers, and the waves with a little bit of chunk and chop.
You actually need more help of the wave. So that's what makes it complicated on the backhand when there's texture.
Nice snap, high speed for J.Marshall. Long float. Gets the little airdrop, adding some drama to the turn. Late hit, double late hit. Sometimes you win the fight against the lip, just like that. 1-2 punch to finish for J.Marshall. Great looking wave.
A little bit of crispness with the south winds, getting a little bit stronger. But you're gonna see him setting up here. Beautiful down the line, goes into a floater, and then the wave starts to bottom out, and he's behind. Gets up vertical, then finish it off. Cat reflexes are there somehow. Is able to put the bottom of the board, presses on the back foot to get that nose up and high and go overboard.
I don't know many goofy footers that could have fit 2 turns in the end of that wave.
I don't know if
any
could. That's the thing, and that's what gives the advantage right now for J.Marshall. You're gonna see him right here, beautiful floater to set up.
I love floaters.
They're awesome, mostly when you gain that much speed. Look how much he's gonna stomp on the back foot right there to put that nose up and vertical before the wave was breaking. And also, keep the pressure on the back foot to not nosedive. That wave kind of bottomed out, coped out, and if that felt good, you can see on his face right there, he's kind of smiling. Tend to like...
The third one.
Yes, the third one. There you go.
Here we go, Miguel Pupo. Kind of rolling in, takes the high line. Cool snap to start. Big backside whip for Miguel Pupo. You can tell he's entering this wave with a lot more intensity, going vertical and going down. What is going on right now with Miguel Pupo?
Doesn't get
that
caught.
high line start right there.
Totally.
So cool.
It sets him up. Look how beautiful the setup right there. Almost loses his foot on that first bottom turn because of the texture and the bumps. Cleans it up. Second turn, bring it even more. Third turn, up and vertical, but just...
Overcooked.
Overcooked. It's thinking ahead of himself just a little too much. Had to kind of just get low.
Well, he's back at it, flying down the line. Big whippy snap there to start. Loved that breakdown, Jesse. You're really good at this. The nuances of surfing. When you have a guy like Jesse Mendez breaking it down, you can really kind of see everything that's happening on these waves. Look at the burst he gets off the opening bottom turn he does right here.
Yeah, this is like the acceleration that he can get throughout the wave, and how tricky it is for him to ride because of how much wobble there is on the wave right now. It's pretty impressive. And let's just mention that how different it is every scenario that you have in front of you, and how well rounded and in tune with the shapers those guys need to be.
And I think that's a really helpful part of having a knowledgeable coach like Adriana de Souza. He was going to probably trade this board in.
That's been happening in every heat, obviously. Like, someone has been kind of on the wrong side of the ball and just wrong rhythm. But here, Miggy just finding another kind of a mediocre wave, but just applying beautiful maneuvers. Finish it off very nicely right there.
You can see he's already recovered from that early mistake. But J.Marshall now is back at it. Perfectly placed frontside snap. Comes around the section again. Blows the tail. Lays back.
And J.Marshall on a bomb. It shows how much time he has been spending here the last few years. He has a house here, so he comes here quite often. And he's going to finish it off with a lot of possess.
Deivid Silva wants to get involved, throwing spray to the sky. So it's interesting because you look at Deivid Silva and you can kind of compare him to Ian Gouveia. Stature-wise, power-wise, they're both right in there, but completely different stylishly. We are back. Surf City El Salvador Pro rolls on, and now we see Deivid Silva trying to fight his way into one of those top 2 spots to avoid the scary, dangerous, threatening elimination round. And surfing like that, is how you climb out of a heat. He is totally looking like a different surfer now. His first 2 waves, not great, a 3 and a 2.5. But Deivid Silva, there's a reason why he's climbed through the ranks in the QS, the CS, made himself a household name in the sport of surfing.
And he's going to better his situation so much, and that's all because of how critical the third turn is from him. He's kind of sets it up, and then he's going to go up in vertical, blows that tail all the way back around, which is very impressive from him. He brought that to the table the last few years. He used to be very good at just going vertical and throwing buckets, but now he can mix it up, and he's going to finish it off with what's his signature turn, just a big bash. Beautiful surfing, solid, and it doesn't seem like he was actually having a shocker on the heat, but look at this bottom turn. He's going to get up in vertical, that front arm going very up and high to get the nose of the board out of the water.
Well, you know what Diva always says? When a problem comes along, you must whip it. And that's what Deivid did on that wave. 3:22 to go. J.Marshall. Lot trolls, rise up. Here we go. Quick snap there to start. This wave kind of bowling and speeding away from him. I think he had much of a choice there. It really tapered off down the line, and you could tell he was looking at the lip line thinking, well, there could be a couple waves in this set. Miguel Pupo is going to activate here on his back end. Takes the high line, streaking super fast down the line. Can he make it around this section? No problem for Miggy. Sets things up again, and the wave just fades away beneath his feet. Having a look, having a paddle, up late, but gets right to work. Huge fan to start. Another big backside turn there. Okay, looking for a 3-2-7. Ollie the Rock. Takes the high road. This wave's gone weird, but when the going gets weird, the weird go pro. Bam! Big finish there for Deivid Silva. Was that a 3-2-7? Pretty convincing.
I mean,
to me,
he did a lot of work.
But I'm not a judge. They're going to have something to think about right there. 0.16 total. Here's one more look at Deivid Silva's last wave. Looking for a 3-2-7. 3 big turns out the back. I mean, you do the math at home. What do you think?
That second turn was money. The third one was a bit on the flatter section. And right here, obviously, he got an extra one. He had to make the most of it. But the comparison is this a 1.5? That second one was massive. So, crispy. I mean, we're talking about massive for the opportunity he had in front of him, right? Like, we're not talking about a 6-foot section, but as much as what he had in front of him, that was as good as he could get.
Yeah, the wave did him no favors. He earned every bit of that score.